the cloud? Good. Okay, so welcome to the recorder volunteer training. And I say that because, Laura, this is really not a team lead training as much as it is to train folks to use the recorder. Okay. And also, even for people who have done this before, and I know Christy has done this before, the process will change as a result of the pandemic and the small number of volunteers that we'll be able to take into prison. So we've modified the process a little bit. In fact, it's probably going to be easier rather than harder. So I'm going to share my screen and first of all, go through with you what we're going to be going through today. We've done introductions already. Brief overview of the process. One recorder per one volunteer, one recording volunteer. So if I were the person who was doing the recording of the offenders, I would have a laptop and a recorder. And I'm going to use the same recorder for all of the moms that I record. And if you've done laptop before, you know that all of the laptops are labeled, the name of the prison and the number of the laptop. Likewise, we're going to label the recorders so that there will be one recorder for one laptop. So if it's the Henley one laptop, this will be the Henley one recorder that will go with it. We're just doing our best to make sure that that the recordings are logged correctly and end up in the right place, and that we can trace all of our steps. To use the recorder itself, if you haven't already gotten these instructions, and I'm hoping that you can see that, and I may have to stop the share and start again because I'm not sure that this instruction sheet really shows you how to use this very simple recorder. There is an on and off or a power button on one side. And the first thing that you'll do when you walk into the prison to record the moms is make sure that the recorder is turned on by just pulling down on the power button. You'll see it says power on. And if you can, let me see if I can do that over. There we go on the screen. So you can see now that there's something on the screen of the recorder. You know that it's been turned on. It actually says stop right now because you're not recording. To record, you will press, there's a record button on the right-hand side. There's a stop button on the left-hand side. That and the power on and off buttons are the only thing that you need to touch on the recorder. So when it's time to record the mom, you'll simply press the record button. When she finishes recording, you'll press the stop button, not the pause button, but the stop button. And I want to make a big deal about that because if you press the pause button instead, you're still recording on the same file. And what that means is that if a mom comes in and she's going to read to 3 of her kids and she reads the first book and you happen to press the pause button, when you press record again, it's going to record on the same file, which means that both of the books will be recorded together. Yeah. So just make sure you're pressing the stop button after each recording. And then at the end of the day, you're going to want to make sure that you pull that power button on the side, slide it down again, and turn power off before you give the recorder back to the team leader. So that's how easy it is to actually use the recorder. I'm going to stop sharing briefly and go back to the instructions once again. And by the way, I'm happy to send all of these instructions to you so that you've got them. The on-site process is not including the use of the recorders. The first thing that you're going to do when you walk into the prison and you're getting ready for the moms to come in is open the laptop and open the Excel spreadsheet on the desktop of the laptop. And if you don't know how to open the laptop, I'm sure the team lead can help with that and help you log in to the laptop. The only thing that you will be using on the laptop at this point in time is the Excel spreadsheet. Okay. So let me go back and see if I want to be able to share everything, and I'm not sure it's going to let me do it. It's not. So this is what the Excel spreadsheet looks like. I've already filled a little bit of it out just so you've got an idea of how to fill it out. But once you've opened the spreadsheet, when the mom walks in, you'll introduce yourself, have mom introduce herself, and together you're going to fill out the spreadsheet. The only thing that's changed on the spreadsheet, if you've done this before, is column A, and that's because we're going to make sure that we're tracking which recorder is being used and also which recording, which number recording it is. And that's because rather than having a separate recorder for every single mom, the volunteer is going to use the same recorder for all of the offenders that she records. So they will all go on to this recorder. Okay. So if this is recorder number 1, this is Henley number 1, it's H1. The first mom walks in and she's got 2 kids she's going to record for. You're going to log it in as recording number 1. H1 is the recorder number. The mother's name is Mary. She's reading for Sam. The book is Love You Forever. If you can get caregiver information, we would love to get that as well. The columns E, F, and G are nice to haves. They're not required. So the mom can still record a book even if she doesn't have the caregiver's contact information on her. But it just makes it easier for us because that means we can follow up and make sure that the caregiver received the recording and that everything was okay. So you'll notice that Mary read for 2 different children. She read for Sam and she's going to read for Sam and she's going to read for Jane. Once you and Mary have filled that portion out, then it's time for her to actually go back and do the recording. So let me go back and find the sheet once again. There is after she's filled out the sheet, you're going to have her record it and do her recording. And what she's going to use is this little script. And you can have it written down, but you don't have to, as long as she knows what she's going to say. She's going to say, before she starts reading the book, this is recording number 1 on recorder H1. Then she's actually going to start recording. Hi, this is Jane. I'm reading for Mary, and I'm reading Pat the Bunny. And then she's going to do the recording, and then she's going to press stop. And by the way, you were going to press record before you did all of that. But it's important that she uses that script just so when we get back to the office and we're making the labels and putting them in the books and making sure that the URLs on the labels go with the correct mom, the correct child, the correct book, we've got all that information up front. Because there will actually be a volunteer who will go in, click the link or put in the URL, the short URL, and double check to make sure that it really is Jane reading to Mary and it's Pat the Bunny. Okay. So each book will be recorded in its own separate recorded file. However, it will be recorded on the same recorder. Okay. And I'm going to make a big deal about that because we've never done that before. And what that means is that you'll only, if you have, let's say 10 moms that you're recording, you are the recorder that day and you've got 10 moms you're recording, all of the recordings, all of the files are going to go on this one recorder.
That's
okay. So, which makes it easier. So then at the end of the day, when you're finished with number 10, you're going to turn the recorder off and you're going to hand it back to the the team leader. Just for your information, this is not for the recording volunteers. I mean, you won't have to do anything, but just so you know what's going to happen after this, for Laura, for the team leader, Laura, you're going to take the recorder and the laptop back with you. And just like you did before, you're still going to upload files to our Google Drive.
Yeah.
But instead of taking them off the recording files off the digital files off the computer, you're going to take them off of this.
Right. So we cut out that middle step of putting them on the computer.
Exactly.
Okay.
So there is no, you're not burning it to a CD. You're still moving files. It's just where you're moving them from that's different from where you were before.
Okay. That seems simpler.
It actually is. It does cut out a step.
Yeah.
So, and you'll also move the spreadsheet over just so that we've got that to double check.
Right. Okay.
The only other thing that I was asked to remind the mom is that there's a time limit of 10 minutes per recording. So, and I think we've always been aware of that in the past. If the mom is reading a chapter book, you're going to want to make sure that they scope it out before they actually start doing the recording to know where I'm just going to read the first chapter. I'm going to read to page 15 in her head. She needs to know that so that when it comes time to finish the recording, it'll happen. So, okay.
Yeah, that's great.
So I'm going to stop the share and see if there are any questions.
No, that's great. This is how we'll have fewer volunteers in because you won't have to have the room of people doing the computer stuff there. Okay. Everybody will be recording.
Yes.
Okay.
And I have no idea how many people are going to be allowed in.
I know.
But our thought is that there will probably be no more than 2 people recording, 2 volunteers recording when we first go back.
Yeah.
So 2 laptops go in, 2 recorders. You'll take more than 1 recorder just in case something happens, but 1 recorder per volunteer, and that's it.
Okay. Wow. That's going to be either limit the number of people or we stay in longer.
Well, no, if you think about it though, if we're not burning CDs and there's not all the transfer back and forth of all the recorders, the moms just keep coming in and recording and recording and recording and recording. So there probably will be fewer. My guess is that there'll be fewer moms recording because of the limitations that we are under right now. But I think the process will probably go faster.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
So we'll see.
Yeah, that's great.
So for the team leader piece of it, we're going to do another training completely and just make sure that you guys are aware of what you're supposed to be doing.
Okay.
And hoping that one's actually going to be an in-person so that we can sit at computers and let you practice.
Yeah.
Dragging and dropping, but that's it.
Okay.
Okay.
This is like, you have to have booster shots for this.
Oh, I know.
It's like every.
I'll tell you what, honestly, I had to, Ismail's our new, you probably met him before, our new tech person at the, he actually works for Women's Storybook Project. And I had to train him to do really the entire process, but the piece of the process that the team leaders are not going to be expected to do, which initially we were planning on team leaders doing, was actually creating the labels and doing everything. And then we pared the process down, and I was doing the labels myself. For all the team leads would send everything to me, and then I would create the labels. And I would send the labels, email the labels to the office, and then anyway. But trying to remember how to do it all when I hadn't done it in a year,
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're right. You do need a booster shot. You need to be able to do this regularly in order to know how to do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if there are no more questions, that's it.
Oh,
I
great.
wish I had a graduation certificate to give you guys, but
Thank you so much.
you're
Yeah,
so
thank you.
welcome. You guys have a nice afternoon,
Okay.
and
Thanks.
let me know. Oh, Christy, I need, Laura, I think I probably have your address, but would you do me a favor and leave your email address in the chat? Why don't you both do that? And I'll, before I close up, I'll
Yeah.
grab those email addresses and email you the documents that
Oh, good.
I was showing you. Okay,
Awesome.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you. Thanks for doing this, Jeri. This seems
Yeah.
like hard work and not as much fun as going into the prison. So thank you
Well,
for doing it.
You know, as Christy and I were saying before you got on, it's just so nice to have the written program that we've got something to offer
Yeah, I know.
right now. So I think that we have done, I'm truly, truly impressed with our organization, that we have done a phenomenal job of continuing to offer services despite the fact that
Mhm.
we're on lockdown.
Yeah, and the mothers
Yeah.
appreciate it. We've gotten at Lockhart, we got a letter from somebody where our second letter didn't make it to them for some reason. And they wrote back in and said, please, are we still in the program? We so want this. We didn't get our letters. So we sent them, but it just makes you feel good because I was a little afraid they'd be like, you know,
I don't want to do this.
they're
Yeah.
really, but I'm ready for us to go back. I bet we don't get to go back in October.
I doubt we.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that they're gonna, we'll see.
Yeah, not with Delta.
Yeah.
Well, fingers crossed it'll be sooner rather than later, but
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
prepared. We're prepared.
Good.
Yes.